Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. That's another huge freaking fish.
I really never hear any rumblings of a state like Arizona being known for its incredible fishing, especially when stacked up to some of its northern neighbors. But this place, it's been stuck in my mind now for a long time, and I knew I needed to make my way back. With over half of the 48th state being classified as arid and semi-arid, this can seem like an awfully strange place if you consider yourself an angler. The knee-jerk of public perception tends to label the Grand Canyon state as just another desert. For those bold enough to follow your ears and seek out the trail less followed, you'll see that God truly enriches this mysterious land.
Wow. Emerald green water with that.
That's pretty nice. It definitely doesn't suck.
Your eyes can feast upon thousands of miles of cold, clean, and clear water meandering through pine flats and red rocks alike. Boundless is truly the best way to describe the opportunities for anglers willing to embrace a little bit of adventure. Be it tiny trickles running out of the surrounding mountains or deep canyon rivers cutting their way through the rocky crag, there's a lot of water. Finding where to fish, that can be the easy part. Getting there, that's what separates the wheat from the chaff. Ankle-breaking angles tend to be sharper than the cactus clawing at your body, and very real danger can always be waiting around that next river bend.
Holy sh! Holy sh! That was a mountain lion!
So you might be wondering, is the juice really worth the squeeze? When you compare the rare native trout species holding out in their isolated drainages to the potential for monstrous non-native fish species dominating the big water, there is such a wide range of angling opportunities for any interest level.
That is such a specimen, man. Crawdad fed and absolutely good to go.
Between backpacking, truck camping, and simple day trips, I will be joined by some of my best fishy friends to hunt down the unique fly fishing experiences throughout the desert state and trying to document them all. Folks, this is going to be one entire month fly fishing Arizona. I hope you enjoy because it all starts right now. Even though that midweek session left a bit to be desired, business at the ranch went on as usual. I did my best to grind through some looming work projects as the busy season of my industry started to rear its ugly head. I needed to make myself a little bit of wiggle room for future trips and short weeks to come. The bitter taste of afternoon coffee was reminding me how it can be very hard to find balance at times. I had just enough time though to get everything packed up and back in the truck ready for the morning to come. Hard to tell who was training who at this point, but my Pavlovian practice of sitting out on the deck each night and watching the sunset had become a ritual with the cats. The cat I called Gatito would nuzzle up with me on the deck chair, while the other one I called Gato would hover around the deck watching the horizon. I would like to think they enjoyed my presence while I caught up on some underwhelming literature weighing down my luggage, but this hour or so of decompression was easily one of my favorite parts of this trip. Obviously, I was here to fish and document each unique adventure, while catching up with some old friends. But I find that little moments like this really stick out in my memory. The silence of the evening breeze was only interrupted by the sounds of the night birds ushering in the blue. And occasionally the cattle would pass by, or a wisp of a coyote could be seen in the shrub line. And for those of you who don't know, I have a particular soft spot in my heart for other alley cats out there in the world, so the warm cuddles of my wandering companions were more than appreciated. But that's quite enough on that. With an early morning in my future, I made sure to retire a touch early tonight in anticipation of tired eyes. Like a distant spotlight, the bad luck of a full moon was shining down strong on the ranch. Most of my more difficult outings have some sort of statistical significance with a previous night's full moon. Regardless of the sinking feeling in my gut, I hit the road and made my way towards the rim. The copious signs warning of animal danger were more than warranted because there were a shocking number of elk moving around major roads. A few new misses had me relieved to be stationary and back with Jack for our second weekend on the water.
Is this her?
What's going on, man? Yeah.
Brother, man, good to see you.
Do you, are you going to be packing today?
Huh?
Are you packing?
What do you mean?
Your firearm?
Oh, yeah, probably.
Yeah, okay. If you're going to pack it, then I'm probably going to leave mine.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Really only need the one.
Yeah.
I think they got a whole lot of other problems to handle first. The whole online thing just being absolutely broken. Just as long as she doesn't pop.
Scottsdale blonde for
Well, wouldn't I like to meet a Scottsdale blonde? Come on now.
That's always my job.
That's
my two favorite things.
That's a good one. It says ultimate icebreaker, Scottsdale blonde.
The hope of Gila trout and the promise of a sweet kiss from a Scottsdale blonde was more than enough to fight off the chill of a mid-spring morning here in Arizona. Even though temperatures were set to be ideal in the afternoon, the air right now was biting at the tips of my fingers and toes. We kicked up quite a bit of cold dust as we followed this lifeless creek bed up the path. It took a bit, but we eventually heard water start to whisper and then babble further up the trail. Seemingly out of nowhere, a stream was born, and rumor had it, native trout were swimming in it somewhere. Well, rumors and this big green sign.
That guy right there?
Yeah, both of them worth a shot. You can try it out if you want.
Sure, I'll give it a gander. Yeah. Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah. They're really hard to find when they're available habitats 70 miles.
Yeah. Until a wet year, then it's 700 miles.
Yeah.
And they're in all of those places.
Right.
So I don't think that's how that works.
I think your math might be off.
Unfortunately, just because more water doesn't mean.
We usually start off pretty slow down here. I'm not expecting too much for the next like quarter mile or so. But then once you get up further, there's just more water comes in.
What are the catch you to? You want to make a trout feel naked, just toss them on some slate.
Yep.
It's no different than put them in like a fish tank. They're like, oh my god, this is so unnatural. Everything's gonna get me.
This is a good one. So, the only place you ever find them on that right side, there's a hole in the slate.
Yeah, I see it.
They're usually in there.
So would they be down, so there's that one tier and then the second tier, would they be on the second tier or is it mainly just on the top tier?
Give the second tier a shot.
Okay.
Up by that rock up there.
Yeah.
But maybe 1 or 2 casts, if nothing, then just pound that hole.
Perfect.
There.
Cast after cast and hole after hole, we continued to come up empty-handed. Hell, we intentionally busted through a number of holes just to try and get eyes on one of these alleged trout. Jack was nothing short of shocked, and I was starting to get leery that full moon might have something to do with these fishless shenanigans. We kept pushing hard, only to make sure to fish the most productive looking runs. We were clearly getting desperate or just downright bored because at this waterfall, some critters in the water caught our eye. Plucking these artful mobile homes out of the water to get a better look, I was taken back a bit at the sheer size of these cased caddis. Even out west, these would be considered big-ass bugs. Jack informed me that these were fairly common throughout the rim streams here in Arizona, and returning them safely to their bedrock homes, we clambered over the waterfall and started talking about potential exit strategies.
Yeah, the way I usually do it is it's like catch a fish, extend it another 45 minutes or 30 minutes. So if we, within the 30-minute window, we hook or catch a fish, extend it and extend it and extend it.
Much like the morning chill, our faith had all but faded at this point. Just out of practice, Jack approached yet another fishy looking run and gave it an honest cast. After a few empty passes, I made the mistake of shifting camera angles, and wouldn't you know it, the AZ kid was hooked up.
Yes!
Yes! Lord! Oh my God! As I'm like falling over.
There was no mistaking the speckles on the back with the sandy olive and faint par marks. This right here, folks, this was a Gila trout through and through. Seeing that sucker slide back was the relief we were looking for. Corey captured, and pesky skunk was finally off the board.
Oh my God.
Things happen.
Let's go, dude.
Fishy
Let's
nucks are well
go.
deserved.
Fishy nucks are very
Maybe
well
a Scottsdale blonde.
Oh!
What's the official time?
Oh boy. 9:53 when I walked up to the hole. 9:59.
9:59, and we've been out here since like 7, 6, well, 6:30 probably.
Yeah, like 6:30, 6:45 down on the water.
Zoinks.
That's a hard one. It's a well-deserved.
Hard-earned Gila, yeah.
Holding a bit more confidence in our cast hitting home, I went back to fishing any and all holding water that had the potential for life. Ironically, in a mostly inconspicuous side pocket, I finally managed to hook up with my first Gila of the day.
Well, I was a little worried, just a little bit. I would say like 1 out of 10 worried that I might be holding on to a skunk, but that, ladies and gentlemen, is my first Arizona Gila trout. That is an absolute beauty. We'll get this guy back and try and catch some more. He's back.
The trumpets of victory were blasting all around. Not only was that skunk off, but that was the first official fish on this new ant rod. And y'all know what that means. The plastic can finally come off, and after the subsequent trash was properly disposed of, it was time to pop the champagne, or in our case, the Scottsdale Blonde.
Beautiful. Scottsdale blonde.
Sipping this lukewarm beer paired perfect with a local lizard entertainment, but once the show was over, it was back to business hunting for more Gila.
Oh, how could it get more perfect than that? My God! My God! It doesn't get better than that. That's a medal. You put a chain on that, I'll wear that.
No, literally.
That's a freaking medallion. Oh shoot, are you serious?
Sitting under the rock.
Jack remained the one with the hot hand for the afternoon and was able to connect with another beautiful Gila. That fish was great, don't get me wrong, but it paled in comparison to the next one he hooked up with.
There you are. Oh, you're a big
Oh jeez Louise, that's a good fish. Oh jeez Louise. Oh, hot dog, look at that. Oh no. Oh no, I spoke too soon. Oh no, Jack, I'm so sorry.
You know what? That was in the net. I'm gonna count that. I don't give a shit.
Oh my Lance, that was a fish, dude.
That was a beauty, dude. That was like 11, 12. Damn. Oh, and I'm in the tree now.
Oh boy, that one was a real heartbreaker. No doubt, that fish would have been one of the bigger Gila in the entire system, and we did our best to keep our nose to the grindstone, but that would end up being the last sniff of fish we were able to find on this creek. At this point, we were both fully convinced the curse of the full moon was to blame and had these fish hidden away. I've seen it time and time again, and in all honesty, I'm shocked we even found the fish that we did. That extra light reflected off the moon allows them to feed confidently in the safety of the night, so in turn, they can sleep the day away under whatever rock or log jam they call home. And the biggest key to that is they can avoid being bothered by pesky predators like us. So as the proverbial gavel knocked with the final decision, we turned around. It was a good thing we made the call to look for greener pastures because the tiny trail back was getting quite crowded. Spaced out in almost a perfect fashion, we passed 3 other groups of anglers en route as we got back to the cars. We stopped for a few short conversations while maintaining a hurried pace. Our feet were moving fast, but we made sure to keep our eyes peeled, and through the underbrush, we saw patterns of red touching yellow, and that made us hesitate. There is a very fine line between death to fellow and friend of Jack, for those of you who know the reference. This is when trying to identify a king or a coral snake. But after a bit of banter, we soon realized that we were working with a red touches black, and therefore it was truly a friend of Jack. And speaking of Jack, it's time for him to offer up a bit more context about these particular trout we were catching today, because quote unquote native, it might be a bit of a stretch.
Alrighty guys, so we're done here for the day, but as a fellow lover of trout information and all things trout, here's a little more context on these particular fish themselves. So these are Gila trout, and these Gila trout are from, obviously, the Gila drainage in the Gila wilderness of New Mexico. We are not in New Mexico. We are a very good distance away from New Mexico, separated by a very large desert and a separate species of trout in between. So the way that it goes is the Gila trout, original Gila population in the Gila wilderness is here. There's then an Apache trout here, that is their drainage, and a Gila again here, question mark? We don't know. No one really knows for sure. So the particular drainage that we're in now that they believe that they were native to is the Verde River drainage. They believe that it was extirpated from that area through the same things that pretty much all native trout face, through cattle and hybridization with rainbows and things like that. But around the early 1900s, they were gone. We have no more samples of what they could have been. We don't know. And so our best guess is a Gila trout based on the sites and photographs and everything that we have of those fish of that time. Looked very much so to be a Gila trout. Genetically, we're not sure. So the Apache trout, for example, was not described as a separate, distinct species of trout until, I believe, the late 1960s, early 1970s, somewhere in there. And so to say that this is for sure Gila trout native water is very wishy-washy. Is the trout that once was native here, was it very similar to a Gila trout? Undoubtedly yes. Could it have been a subspecies of Gila trout? Undoubtedly yes. But is it certain to say it was a Gila trout? We aren't positive. However, is this an awesome resource that we should totally take advantage of? 100%. There are, like I said, the quote-unquote Verde trout that was once native here is gone. It is extinct, unfortunately. And so there is a gap here to put into a native trout species. And so your best bet is going to be the closest relative to that trout that we once had, which is a Gila trout. Hence why we now have Gila trout in this particular drainage. Thank you for listening to my trout talk.
Little facts like this are just so interesting to me, and I love learning more and more about the different trout species all across the United States. As beautiful as these wild trout were, quote-unquote native, it might not be the best way to describe them. But one critter that is very much native and I've personally never seen in the wild would be the horny toad. On our way back to the trucks, this little lizard caught our attention and was mostly unbothered by our presence. After we bid that little dude farewell, we hopped in the cars and headed towards a surefire plan B to finish out our day.
So this is her.
It's pretty, dude. And there's fish right there.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I can dig it. I wouldn't mind a little dry fly action.
Oh, I think
Would that be too much to ask?
probably digging this sun here. They were eating mostly nymphs last week, but I did get probably 30% to come up for the dry.
I'll take 30. Hell, I'll take 30.
The way I see it do every week, there is more and more dry fly action, the warmer it gets too.
Well, I'm seeing ants, I'm seeing spiders, I'm seeing all sorts of critters running
I
around.
see a hatch going off down there on the water too. There's definitely bugs out there.
Yeah.
If I were a fish, I would be looking.
Oh, if I were a fish.
A lot of folks would see this tributary as nothing more than a time-wasting trickle, but this is yet another one of Jack's honey holes here on the rim that is full of reliable rainbow hybrids. Now, to the common eye, it might be hard to tell these trout have something slightly off about them. However, with the off coloration and the speckle pattern, you can tell these ravenous little fish are hybridized. With what exactly? Well, that is the million-dollar question. The previously discussed quote-unquote Verde trout used to swim strong in these waters, and we personally think that some of their genetics are still displayed in the flashes of pink and green attacking our bushy dry flies.
Oh, easy does it, buddy. You good?
Yep. I'm getting moved though. Look at that.
Good stuff, dude.
Sick.
Good stuff.
That's a good bow.
That's beauty.
Hell yeah, man. That's what it's all about right there.
Exactly.
You have a lot more repetitions, I guess.
Yep, 100%.
Because yeah, if there's only like,
With the big ass long holes, it's like, oh god.
yeah, the pressure's on, you got to perform.
Yep.
But yeah, this for sure, the jitters are out.
With a few more fish to the hand, this plan B was just what the doctor ordered to round out another phenomenal day of fishing. Small stream trout are some of my absolute favorite to chase, but with things winding down quick, it was time to start thinking about where to put down camp for the rest of the night.
That would offer us a higher guarantee of first on the water.
Yep.
Which I'm all about.
That's, we don't have to get up as early then, you know.
Right.
We can take our time a little more in the morning, which is always nice.
I wouldn't hate that.
I'd be down for that, dude. Then to, yeah, because I mean, we could stop by a gas station by Payson on the way out, grab a few more beers or something.
I mean, I'm okay with that.
But all we need is like gravel.
Yep. Spot to sleep for the night.
So, fire wouldn't be terrible. I wouldn't mind a fire. That would be
Yeah, I agree. I'm down for
pretty
it.
nice.
It always just adds to the appeal that much more. Camping without fires just kind of, it doesn't feel like camping.
Camp without fires is like, it's bedtime.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
what that is. It's
Once the sun goes down, what do I look at? What
I've
do
got
I-
no entertainment.
Yeah, like,
Bumping our way down and out of one canyon and into another, we landed at a seemingly perfect patch of dirt to call home. Without hesitation, we jumped into our respective tasks to get things ready before dark. Since we were truck camping, we didn't need to set up any sort of shelter, so I immediately started collecting wood for a nice fire while Jack got to prepping dinner. It didn't take long to get a healthy pile, and I gotta say, getting a flame to catch down here is almost comically easy. With almost zero effort, we had ourselves a strong fire, truly the perfect backdrop for the Angus magic Jack was conjuring up in his trusty skillet.
That's as beautiful as it gets, I would say. You or a little more on the well done kind of guy. You could make that into freaking shoe leather, and I'd eat that. You can make it. Oh my gosh, that's a Krabby Patty if I've ever seen one. Praise Mr. Krabs.
Outright gluttony after a full day on the water is one of my favorite itches to scratch. Guilt-free calories means extra burgers and Cliff Bars are only encouraged to quell those stomach pangs. And hey, while you're at it, you might as well wash it all down with an ice-cold beer. So as the pink on the canyon walls faded, we enjoyed a few more brews and shared some stories while the smoke reached for the sea of stars.
It's almost like smelling a color, but I can smell the cold breeze. You know what I mean? Like you're like, ooh.
And like realistically, like it has no smell, but it's just like, but it does.
Yep.
And then my favorite thing too is trying to explain these absurd things to people that have no clue what they're talking about, what you're talking about, and they're just like, this guy's on drugs.
Well, you
smell the breeze, huh?
you almost have to you have to bring them along with you. Like it really is. Like I achieved levels of this pretty close with ex-girlfriends because I put in painstaking hours to show them
that's valid.
how I did things and why I did things. Of course.
Props on them too, though, because it takes the right girlfriend to even want to be shown.
Yeah. No. I totally agree, and it gives some credence to the madness, but that most of the time at the end of the day they're still like, you're stupid. It's your fucking fault.
A lot of my friends call me a psychopath, but I absolutely love sleeping in the front seat of my truck. There's just something so comforting about it. I can't really explain why. But with aspirations of being the first on the water, we didn't linger all that long around camp. Once we were warmed up around the fire, Jack doused out the flames, and we were once again on the road.
Yeah.
Oh wait, that's how a business starts.
Oh wait, I have $7 billion now.
Literally.
and stuff.
Yeah.
If it were just me alone and a sun game was on, well, that's surprising. If you did drainage there.
What the heck is that thing?
I wish I could tell you.
Some sort of infrastructure.
Oh,
Oh wow, look at that. Oh, that's phenomenal, dude.
Normally if I come down here, it's like, especially because they usually just fish the rim in the winter for the most part.
Yeah.
And so there's just less people. And thousands of years, they've timed out their nesting period to coincide with the sucker spawn in the Salt River down there.
Oh, that's so cool. You mean it's like nature knows what it's doing?
Exactly.
That's sick.
Getting down to the river was relatively fast, but the morning bite was so slow. This gave us plenty of time to look around and pick up some clutter near the trail, and speaking of which, this would be the perfect opportunity for future Mike to offer up a rubbish PSA.
I think this would be a good time to talk about trash. This entire trip, I've been doing my best to pack out as much trash as I possibly can. I get it, it can be a little bit extra, and what's picking up one wrapper here, one tin can there. If enough folks do it, it actually means something. Obviously, you should abide by the pack it in, pack it out rule set, but don't be afraid to pack out a little bit extra. The trails can sometimes get full of clutter, and it sucks being out in the wilderness and seeing something like that. So if you outdoorsmen, hunters, fishers, hikers, campers alike can do a little bit to help, well, it can add up in butterfly effect, so to speak. So yeah, that's my quick PSA. I'll step off my soapbox now and yeah, keep on keeping on.
Another one. That's a full bag, baby. We're getting that.
With that out of the way, and a bit further down the trail, Jack managed to confront our skunk at a lovely looking pool. 2 rainbows were the result, one on the stubby stalker side, and another with crimson sides and intact fins. Just the prospect of wild rainbows got my blood pumping as my heart beat now to a hurried pace. It seemed like the morning bite had started, so it was time to get serious. And like an answered wish sent down from the heavens above, my reliance on foam, being home, sent my first wild rainbow screaming into my net. With endless speckles and blushing cheeks, this wild trout kicked back strong into the canyon current. The radiating heat was quickly making air temps more comfortable, and the group skunk was no longer a worry for the day. It was time to keep pushing downstream.
And just eat when it's convenient for them.
They just go out at nighttime and they'll pull spray fish in the shallows. It's like, bro, y'all should be there.
Right. Oh wow, it's really starting to box up here. Yeah, could you hold that for a sec? Let me flex my upper body strength. Thanks, sir.
Without so much as a bite from our canyon pinch point, I was a touch flabbergasted. The depth and current alone had me thinking this would be a multi-fish run, and I mean, it just looked too juicy to only find a big fat goose egg. So, with no more room to go downstream and midday now nipping at our heels, we began our pocket water campaign with a fair bit of canyon success.
He knows where he wants to go. Ooh, nice.
Well, that's kind of what we're after, and I hear there's bigger ones, but that one made my day, so that's okay by me. But I will take some fishing up because I see you loading up, dude.
Nice, that's a good one.
Yeah, that was good. That was what, probably like 13, 14?
Ish, yeah. In that direction. Well, and I missed a bow out of here.
Did you?
Towards the back, yeah. And I think I had another bite on that side.
Yeah, there's gotta be more bros sitting up there.
There it is. That feels like a better fish.
Beautiful, man. Those pars are nice.
Right?
This guy.
And yeah, the perspective was weird. I didn't know if we could reach it. Hey yo, hey yo, hey yo, hey, 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 what the f is that?
What?
Is that a coati?
Where?
Do you see that?
Oh yeah, that's funny.
Whoa!
Have you never seen one before?
No!
But because my filming skills are so painfully amateur at times, I was only able to grab a fleeting glimpse of this funny looking critter before I zoomed in on a rock and it zoomed back into the brush. So please feast your eyes on these internet provided images instead. The coati, or coatimundi, is basically the diurnal cousin of something like the raccoon. The Central and South American jack of all trades are perfectly adapted to this canyon environment. Much like pumas, peccaries, and even ocelots, certain species recognized in the more tropical climates can be found along the US border, like this beloved coati.
Oh my gosh, that's nuts!
They're wicked, huh?
That's a coati!
They're wicked, dude.
That's nice too. It's a little quieter.
Yep, exactly. Nice and quiet, sandy. Oh, that's nice.
Crisp, clean, refreshing. No free shout out, Huss Brewing, but free shout out.
Not in a coolers, because that was the last Blondie, so.
Oh, he packed in a.
We're doing it right, baby.
Cheers. That's old school, packing in the bottle.
Soft and warm, our beautiful Beer Beach proved to be quite the fruitful stopping point. I was feeling the flow of that lovely Scottsdale blonde, and after 2 quick fish pulled out of this nice drift, my timing was really starting to get dialed in.
Like when you know it hits that good drift, you're just like,
Exactly.
mwah.
When you know it's like going, like when you know your nymphs are dragging through that money zone, like right then, and it's like, oh,
You're like,
oh,
I think there
oh.
might be a fish there. I think I know you're gonna be there. Like that.
Right there.
Now that's good audio.
That's perfect, dude. That's funny.
Oh hell yeah. You're messing up my line. Goodbye.
Jeez Louise, dude. That's a brownie.
That's brown. Don't you worry. Ooh, look at his back tail. He's been the subject of a little bit of maunch.
Oh yeah, you got a chunk out of him. That's cool, dude.
Pretty fish though.
The momentum kept pouring on with another great little brown to the hand, and not soon after, another wild rainbow.
That's a good bow. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, dude. Very nice. That's very nice. Looking good, clean. Oh baby. I bring this home. I bring this one home to Mama. She's a pretty one.
That deserves some fishy nuts.
Let's go, dude. This
Let's
afternoon is like, it's picking up big time, man.
Oh yeah.
This afternoon, we still got a lot of day left.
Bolts of lightning, pouring rain, crescent moon has taken itself far away later. One more lazy
That's awesome. This afternoon is really turning around. This is a lot of fun. Jack, thank you for the assist on the net. That was big time.
Let's go, buddy.
was thicker than blood, but the sky got inside of me. I still hear the words you told me. Baby, gonna be so lonely when I'm gone. But it isn't true. I was just as lonely with you. I guess I always will be.
good fish. This is a good fish. Brown. Oh, man. That was a good fish, buddy. That would have easily been that 16-incher. Couldn't keep it together.
All good things must come to an end. Yes, it's true. This day had far surpassed any sort of expectations I'd packed along with me, and I think Jack would agree we had ourselves a killer day. One more run was agreed upon, and I did my best to make the most of it. Methodically, I managed to work my way up the left side and pick off 2 stellar rainbows sitting in the back of the pool. Looking through the mirage of the cascading current, I could see a few well-placed boulders that looked primed and ready for a brown trout hiding spot. And hey, wouldn't you know it, I found myself a dance partner with this next cast. With space to squeeze quickly running out, I flung some well-placed faith high up in the run and bagged myself the last rainbow of the day.
There he is.
Just drop the indicator just a tad.
Oh, bro. That's a gorgeous.
Might be that way. That's one of those satisfying angler moments where it's like, I'm gonna give it one more cast. I'm gonna drop the indicator. I'll give it one more cast, but let's just see. And
then blue.
Bingo.
Stocky as stocky gets, man. He is I mean, I don't know. This is a good run. Great run.
In the angling world, it's awfully tough to crack 2 home runs in a row. But somehow, as Jack and I were dodging cactus and clawing out of this drainage, we were rounding the bases yet again, and the proverbial crowd was going wild. I'm forever grateful for fishy friends like Jack who are willing to bring me along and share some amazing trout fishing experiences. Learning the land and exploring the history of these lesser known fisheries only adds fuel to the fire of this silly little passion I call fishing. This would unfortunately be our last outing here in Arizona, so I bid Jack farewell until the next time we could share the water.
Well, folks, if you are seeing this, then that means the video is over. The last southwest sunset is slowly making its way to the other side. And all I have to say, like always, is thank you. Thank you so very much for sitting through and watching this video all the way to the end. It means the world to me that you guys like these videos, that you can relate and share these with your friends and kind of the similar experiences that my friends and I go through. It's really cool. For me, it's about capturing these memories, but I'm so happy that there's folks out there who can, laugh along, enjoy it, and maybe learn a thing or two along the way. But folks, before I skedaddle, I just had to make a couple of thank yous, as always. Thank you to all the brands that support Fly All Season. Of course, I'd be doing this without them, but with them, it really helps as far as the gear, the information, all that. It's really great. So if you have any questions about what I'm using, how I'm using, check out the description. I keep them all down there. Discount codes too for the gear that I use. All great brands, all great people. You know who you are. Thank you so very much. Going off of that, the Patreon folk, thank you so much. Again, it's amazing to me that there's people out there who are willing to, send out a little bit of their hard-earned money to help make something like this happen. Because it's a lot of work, logistics and gas and gear. I mean, it gets expensive. So just know all of your very generous offerings are being used to its fullest to bring you more stuff like this. So folks, that is quite enough for me. I gotta book it before I'm hiking out in the dark. So wherever you find yourself, be it in the beautiful Southwest or in your backyard, make sure to keep those feet in the water. Until next time, tight lines.
We were ghosts with arms open wide, but we floated away. A strange distant sea. Well, heaven grew the silver moon, made the ocean see. I thought that I'd feel brand new, but trouble's on the way. I know that there's a solitary life that's filled with peace, and sometimes a man just needs